Hello EFD squad and welcome back to Continental Club, where we discuss the hottest topics in European football as selected by you. Now this week's episode is going to be a little short because we're actually short on bods. Not just men, as I was going to say, Liv behind the camera, Tuesday behind the camera, running things behind the scenes. So we're going to fly through these questions. If you're expecting a 40-minute episode like we produced last week, then yeah, it's just désolé. Go and check out Sunday Vibes when that comes live on Sunday. First question is from Dan, EL68300-174. It is claimed in recent headlines that Messi and Ronaldo will not be in this 2018 Ballon d'Or top 3. Contentious. Do you think they should be in the top 3? Who would you name first, second and third?
Absurd. That is.
Good restaurant, that.
It is. I would have Messi and Ronaldo in my top 3.
Yes, 100%, followed by Kylian Mbappe.
Would you have Mbappe?
Yeah, one of the World Cup winners at least.
But if you were going to have a Frenchman, would you not have Varane because he also won the Champions League? And I believe that every single time a player has won the Champions League and won the World Cup simultaneously in the same year, they have qualified for the top 3 of the Ballon d'Or.
Well, if we're doing it by tradition, then sure. However, I personally feel Kylian Mbappe is so young and is achieving so much at such a young age, winning trophies left, right and centre and scoring a ridiculous amount of goals, that he should definitely be within the top 3, especially if all the time it's focused on more attacking kind of players. He's definitely proven himself to be in the likes of the names of Neymar, Messi, Ronaldo that have already been mentioned and stuff like that.
Messi's output last season still overshadowed him.
Yeah, no, that's what I agree. Like Messi and Ronaldo should definitely be in there.
Just because he had a poor World Cup, I think he's still got a couple of assists in the goal. He's not been considered. And that's pretty much, what people are putting it down to, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one because this is a report from Gazzetta dello Sport, I believe, that claim that they've got some inside track. And about halfway through the voting for the Ballon d'Or at this stage, Ronaldo and Messi aren't in that top 3 category. And I believe some of the other names that have been batted about are Kylian Mbappe, are Rafa Varane, and of course Luka Modric, who got to a World Cup final with Croatia and won the Champions League. Integral part of both sides.
What about Dejan Lovren?
He's up there. Dejan Lovren, no. I mean, good effort, Dejan.
Just moan about Sergio some more.
If you could give yourself the Ballon d'Or, Dejan Lovren would give it to himself. But for me, still, I think Messi, so far this calendar year, is on something like 50-odd goals. I think Ronaldo's on 44. Yeah. I believe the next best might well be Robert Lewandowski.
I can understand why there'd be a certain amount of trepidation with Ronaldo because of what is happening off the field current.
But what's the excuse for Messi?
Messi, one game short of an unbeaten season, winning the double. And again, scoring a frightening amount of goals. I think his goals and assists, his shots and key passes per 90 over the last year has been at 6.3. So since the start of 2018, he is in his own stratosphere when you look at graphs on Twitter. So he's evolved his game, but his output hasn't really dropped, and for that, should probably still be considered for the Ballon d'Or.
But this always happens when a major tournament takes place. Everyone forgets about the season that's kind of happened before and the Champions League and always focuses on the World Cup and the summer that just went past. And because he didn't get through to the latter stages or into the semi-final or final, he's not necessarily going to be considered. The same as Ronaldo as well.
It's been one of your bugbears lately, hasn't it? Short-term memories.
Yeah.
But let's not forget that Ronaldo, might not have been this calendar year, dragged Portugal to the World Cup. He then
of course,
was fairly influential at the World Cup.
Andre Silva pretty good in qualification as well.
I mean,
I don't think they were as dependent on him. Andre Silva, not
as Cristiano.
They're still not dependent on Cristiano as they usually were during qualification. Yeah, he still scored a ridiculous amount of goals. I think it was like 15.
Yeah.
But even during the World Cup, though, Ronaldo was very. Do you remember that goal against Spain or the goals against Spain?
The free kick, Guedes, Silva. There's a crop of young talent emerging in Portuguese football, isn't there? So
I would still have Cristiano in the top 3. My top 3 would be Messi, Cristiano, and Luka Modric this season.
I think Varane has to make the top 3 for me. I would go Messi, Varane, and then winning the best award probably dictates you're going to come top 3 for the Ballon d'Or. Whether or not, he deserves to be, or I would put him in is a different question. But so Luka Modric, Messi, and Rafa Varane for me. What about you?
Oh, no Ronaldo?
No Ronaldo, no.
Fair play.
Given the context, the wider picture.
Okay. If I'm just looking at football, then I'm going Messi, Ronaldo, and I want to say Mbappe, but I think it's more just because I really like him. So I'll say Luka Modric but also isn't there as well that Mbappe's not going to get Golden Boy?
I think that Kylian Mbappe isn't going to get Golden Boy, although, look, he won it last year, and I don't believe, as far as my knowledge goes, any player has ever won back-to-back Golden Boys. Even Lionel Messi didn't. Wayne Rooney certainly didn't. Yeah, I don't think it's happened. So it would be something bizarre for him to win it back-to-back. Usually they kind of take that into account. He won it last year, let's give it to someone else this year. And Kylian is now so established. He's almost out of the running at that level, I would say. And the only other real name that has been bandied about, and I believe actually Gazzetta dello Sport believe could win this Ballon d'Or, is Antoine Griezmann, which I think would be fairly unique. I believe he's scored 25 plus goals for the last 4 seasons now. He's won a World Cup, fairly influential there. And he's the sort of player that the Ballon d'Or goes to. They always give it to attackers. It's very rare you see a midfielder or defender.
It's like 3 defenders.
High profile. Like, he's a big character, Griezmann. He's the sort of player that I could see winning the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, 2 goals in the Europa League final, I guess, and a good performance in the European Cup Winners' Cup against Real Madrid, so the silverware's certainly there. Who's your favourite Ballon d'Or winner ever, though?
Ever. Zinedine Zidane.
Next.
Yeah, Lionel.
Thank you. Next.
Lionel Messi. Definitely Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi, the greatest player of all time.
Kaká, the last man to break the
hegemony.
Yeah, I was going to use that word as well. The hegemony between Messi and Ronaldo.
Yeah, I think it's going to be someone different this year, though.
Hopefully as well, but I think this is the start of it being different people each year now. Messi and Ronaldo are getting on. They can't keep doing this.
Messi can. People are ignoring how good Messi is because he's a freak.
For the next 10 years, I expect 7 different winners for the Ballon d'Or.
Okay, I think we can all agree that Mbappe is going to win it in the next 2 or 3 years. Yeah. Neymar, has he missed that sort of window in time because of Mbappe's rise? It's yet to be seen. But let's move on to B. Kerford's last headline question, which is, do you expect Real Madrid to get back to the top of Europe in the next 2 seasons, or do you think it's going to be a tough rebuild? And if you want to know this in extensive detail, we did an hour 50 podcast on it for Sunday Vibes Extra Time. I think it's episode 2.
It is episode 2.
Yeah.
Go and download that now. But let's just give an overview for the more casual Continental Club viewers. Now, current problems at Real Madrid seem to have been arrested by Solari. They've scoring goals again all of a sudden. I think they got 4 in the league a couple of weeks ago, which is prolific compared to their record under the previous manager, under what was it, Lopetegui, where they haven't scored in, I think, over sort of 600 minutes, which is a record that stretched back to the 1980s. But they probably still need to strengthen in January, and because of the profiles of the current squad, we're talking sort of yards covered by those legs as well, and not just necessarily the age. They're going to have to overhaul the squad in the summer. So quickly kind of surmise how you feel about Real Madrid at the moment, who you think they might need to bring in, and we'll move on to quick fire after that.
Well, I think one of your shouts for a quick solution, Immobile, was actually very good, especially if you can get him for under 90 million pounds, which I think is definitely doable.
You better get him for under fucking 90.
Well, it depends how keen they are on keeping him.
They wanted 120 for Milinkovic-Savic, exactly. So they probably want about 90 for Immobile, won't they?
But he can fix the goal scoring problem, which I think they've got currently. And I also think bringing back Kovacic and basically making him a starter in that midfield will sort out the midfield problem, especially because Luka Modric and Toni Kroos have been running these yards for the past 4 seasons now together, that they do need someone there with fresh legs to be able to freshen up a little bit. I think the defence is okay. I think Sergio Ramos now getting into his 30s, they maybe have to look at a replacement for him. They've got Thibaut Courtois in goal now. Apart from that, I think they're not too bad.
Crop of youngsters emerging. Danny Ceballos not getting the minutes. He's fared quite well when he has played. They've got Hakimi who's killing it on loan at Dortmund, who plays left back, traditionally a right back. They've got Vallejo, who's viewed as the long-term solution at centre back. He had a couple of productive seasons in Germany. Did have a bad injury though. Joe, who would you pick up moving forward?
Well, There's a number of different players that I think they're going to need. They're definitely going to need a central midfielder. However, that could be arrested by bringing in Mateo Kovacic back. But it looks increasingly likely that Luka Modric is going to leave the club in the summer, which I think would be a bit of a shame, maybe.
If they can get a decent enough fee from him, I don't think it's the worst move. Florentino Perez has shown that he's not really very emotional. It's all business.
If Inter offer 45 million.
I mean,
take it every day.
You mentioned him there, though. Florentino Perez is the crux of the issue for me, and I think for a lot of Real Madrid fans, I'm not sure how much further his leadership of the club can go, really. He's turned over a whole load of different managers. He's really hit his pinnacle over the last 3 years, thanks to, of course, Zinedine Zidane winning back-to-back trebles, winning 3 Champions Leagues in a row, but now it looks really short-term. Lopetegui has been a disastrous appointment, gone. Solari looks fairly short-term. He's obviously hoped to be the new Zidane. I don't see him being that. I think Zidane was a bit of a flash in the pan. And the real long-term heir, the manager, that we've identified on the podcast as being the perfect fit, or at least a great fit for Real Madrid, is Mauricio Pochettino. Whether or not they're going to move for him remains to be seen, but there are clear areas of that squad that need massive overhaul, and I don't believe Solari or Florentino Perez are the men to enact it. Clearly going forward, there's issues. Benzema's ageing out. They've lost probably the greatest player in the club's history in Cristiano Ronaldo. Gareth Bale struggles with injury. Mariano Diaz has struggled, I think it's fair to say, since joining. Asensio hasn't really kicked on this season in the way some people hoped he had. So that forward line needs work, and I think they're going to go in fairly heavy for Eden Hazard or Neymar come the summer. One of those two will be identified. I would be surprised if they also didn't inquire about Harry Kane, despite the fact he's locked down to a long-term contract, in a similar way to they will inquire about Mauro Icardi, because the hunt for a striker goes on and on for them. And it may well turn them to a player like Robert Lewandowski at Bayern Munich, who I believe the Bavarians would let go for the right amount of money right 100%. Now if they could sign Timo Werner as a replacement. We also talked about that on this week's podcast, which will come out either tomorrow or Sunday, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Just subscribe to the Apple podcast link and you'll be able to get it. But I think they might turn to somebody like Robert Lewandowski, despite the fact he's ageing, in the hunt for an elite goal scorer.
He's ageing out really well, though. Shot numbers are still very decent. I think he's got 7 in 10 this season. But I think that ship has sailed wherein Perez would sanction a £100 million move for him. Especially, I hear from, just journalists at Marca and Sport, that Perez is pretty keen on building a new stadium or making extensive changes to the Bernabeu.
They look impressive, though.
And it sort of looks like, ostensibly, they've been kind of gearing up for that over the last 2 or 3 years, because I believe Zidane was the only manager, sort of in modern history at very least, that has posted a net profit for Real Madrid. And he did do the best with what he had and brought in sort of a young, prodigious talent just to kind of pad out the squad, didn't he? And Teo Hernandez in Ceballos, obviously sold Morata for a decent amount. That certainly helped take him into the black.
Or Ronaldo, 100 million if it counts technically.
Yeah. They've got 100 million floating around somewhere from that, haven't they? It's just what they see as a wise reinvestment. We spoke about Icardi as well. Would he necessarily fit the system? Do they need to overhaul their wide talent? Because that sort of aging out, although Asensio can step in, can't he, for Gareth Bale. I think that midfield is going to be a real issue. Toni Kroos, 30, Modric, 32 now, 33. And Casemiro, 26. He's still playing up very decent numbers. He's still going to be the sort of not the fulcrum of that midfield, but he certainly enables players he betters players around, doesn't he, in terms of moving forward. So I think Brozovic is a decent suggestion. You've suggested him for Bayern on the recent podcast.
What
like
Joe
said,
absolutely
go and check that out. His output's been incredible this season. I'm trying to think of some other names for suggestions.
The other name who I think is clearly standout amongst Real Madrid fans' eyes, and definitely Florentino Perez's eyes, is Paul Pogba. Now, I think Paul Pogba, if they could get him out of Manchester United, would be an incredible signing for Los Blancos.
I wouldn't even want to think about that.
Could they get him out? That's the question. If
300 million.
If he continues to fall out with Jose Mourinho, I think you could get him for less than 200. Really? Maybe 150. Yeah, I really do.
You think you wouldn't have to break the world record for Paul Pogba?
No. No, I don't. But I think he'd be a great signing for Real Madrid, and if they can get him, they should get him.
I don't think Man United let him go anytime soon, just because I think he's going to outlast.
They've made that mistake once before as well, and imagine like he then goes and absolutely kills it at Real Madrid. Every United fan's going to be like, why have we let him go?
But we didn't make a mistake. Cristiano Ronaldo wanted to leave. He gave us an extra season, Cristiano Ronaldo. He was desperate to leave the year before, and we kept him for one more.
I think you meant Paul
Pogba.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Paul
Yeah.
Pogba.
Sorry, I thought you meant
My only other concern I was going to say is, do you think at Real Madrid there's too many egos? The fact that Conte essentially wasn't allowed to be the manager because Sergio Ramos said.
No, I think Conte turned them down. It's hard to quantify that as well. I think Conte wanted to sort out his contract issue with Chelsea as well in the courts in the meantime, and I just think he wisely sidestepped it. I'd like to see Conte at a club like AC Milan. AC Milan, another team we've put on the podcast. This has just been a relentless.
Just podcast. Just go watch the podcast.
Just go and listen to the podcast. Don't even bother watching
this anymore. Because we've done so much over the last 2 weeks. 2 2-hour podcasts, Sunday Vibes as well. We get to Friday and it's hard to have anything new to say for you guys, but we are trying our best. So let's go into quick fire questions now. Reece Haskell, your favourite African footballer of all time and why?
Are we counting Zinedine Zidane in there? I'm joking. Didier Drogba, and that's obvious. Chelsea, Champions League 2012, big games, and then also just like seeing how he's been able to go to America and sort of, I don't know if you guys have seen much about Phoenix Rising, but like he's brought that club from quite small into the playoffs. At 40 years old.
They won the playoffs, didn't they?
No, they lost it.
They lost it.
Oh,
and actually, he just retired as well yesterday as well. So, big shout out to Didier. Made many a dream come true for me. I still remember running around my house when we scored that header in the Champions League. Couldn't believe it.
Maybe Samuel Eto'o, you know. I think Eto'o, yeah. Maybe because I've got such fond memories from FIFA. And Football Manager and stuff, but he was
88 pace.
What a player! I mean, it's such a shame that his career petered out in the way it did when he ended up at Chelsea and Angie Makalahaka and then went to playing in India and stuff.
I wouldn't agree with that.
Kind of
I actually thought, I thought he was actually
it?
okay at Chelsea. I remember he scored a hattie against.
I remember him at Everton being absolutely dog shit.
Everton, sure, but it's a bit of a difference.
African players, okay. I'm not really prepared for this.
George Weah?
George Weah's not the worst.
Liberian. Yeah, but I can't. I'd be lying if I said I watched George Weah enough for him to qualify as my favourite. It's certainly very.
You know who I always enjoyed?
Yeboah.
Who was that left back at QPR that they got on loan for a season from AC Milan?
I don't know. I'm just thinking about Tony Yeboah's
absolute
free
kick
I
on
was
him.
just thinking left backs then. Played for QPR, Benoit Asuakoto, and I was thinking if somebody says Benoit Asuakoto, we're getting out of this room right now.
Didn't he quit to? Oh no, he could have had a career in porn. Did he say?
Yeah. He could have.
Did he flirt with the idea?
He flirted.
Okay, favourite African footballer. I'll quickly name one and then move on. I used to be a massive fan of Essien.
Yes. Well, we're going to be watching him Sunday.
Yeah, playing at the Wembley Cup. Maybe see you there. Okay, moving on. Alex Barkott, 124. What countries would you like to see host the World Cup? I, for one, am absolutely buzzing about 2026.
America,
Mexico, Canada.
USA. That'd be sick, man.
That will be so much trip and a half.
So much travelling.
Yeah, but worth it.
I've seen
connections as well in the US.
I've seen you missed off the back end of Alex Barker's statement, excluding England Tomlinson. We all want football to come home. He's 100% correct.
That would be fantastic.
I don't know, man.
I'd like to see an African nation take it on again, more the northern side, mainly again Algeria, but even Morocco. Like when Morocco were putting in that bid.
Do they have the infrastructure to host it?
I think their issue was maybe the infrastructure. But I think they were willing to build stadiums for it.
North African nation hosted the African Cup of Nations recently because I mean they happen every 2 years, don't they?
Morocco has.
I'd like it to be in North Africa. I've always wanted to go to Morocco, Marrakesh.
Australia would be interesting.
So big,
it's just a rock designed to kill people.
I'd maybe Spain.
Yeah.
They've got some fantastic stadiums.
You know, now there's no
have the final at Wanda
fascist dictatorship
or
as
the
Well.
Bernabeu.
I think that was the last time. I think Franco's still alive the last time they hosted the World Cup, maybe.
Imagine the final at the new camp or something. It'd be a bit epic, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
It'd end up being the Bernabeu though because
I'll go with you. Spain, tapas, love it. Right, so last quick fire question before we do our big match preview, and we're just going to do some rough sort of guesses as to how that might go. It's from Isarcastics Hub. Right, cool. He
What's going on with the names?
Bournemouth doing really well. Should Howe leave for a bigger club next season? Someone like Monaco or Sevilla.
Whoa.
I mean, he'd probably fare better than Thierry Henry at Monaco right now. But I think Eddie Howe, they've been traditionally defensively awful. But he's found a system this season which is working very well, at least for the start. Let's see, sample size is too small at the moment. Let's see if he can sustain it, wherein they're a little bit more sound at the back, hitting teams on the counter, aren't they, and playing very wide through Ryan Fraser. And Callum Wilson and Josh King play really closely to one another. They've got a really good relationship. And what I would say is that awful lot of penalties. I've said it before on Sunday Vibes. I'll say it again. Awful lot of penalties at the start of this campaign, which is maybe was massively skewing in their favour at the moment. Maybe not distorting results, but certainly adding to the scoreline. Maybe they've been a bit more generous than expected goals would dictate. But I've not really done an extensive research on Bournemouth. Anyone got anything original to say about Eddie Howe?
I think if Maurizio Sarri really likes him, it's a bit of and Pep Guardiola really likes Maurizio Sarri and trusts his opinion. It is quite interesting because when he was at Empoli, I think Howe went over
to Empoli,
and like studied his philosophy and the way he plays football. And like Sarri and him are like really good friends, and Sarri really rates him and says he's one for the future. When he said that.
Well,
when did he go?
Empoli
when he was at Empoli,
3 or 4 years ago, at the very least.
So not too.
Taking him a while to implement decent philosophy, especially defensively. I mean, he has changed his tactics significantly this season. How he is far, like you said, more sound defensively, but they are running quite hot. And I'm sure if he was to finish mid-table, it's a massive success for Bournemouth. This is a club that run on very little operating costs. They've got one of the smallest stadiums, if not the smallest stadium in the entire league. Very cash-rich owners, the Russians, but they don't necessarily spend it.
Jefferson Lerma.
But they've done well in their signings.
They have, but I believe their club record signing is still sub 20 mil.
I think it's Jefferson Lerma now on 25.
25 now.
Which is still very
quite
cheap.
Small though. But he is doing really well, Eddie Howe. What I will caveat it with is he is in the prime position at Bournemouth. He is truly at home at Bournemouth. I remember vividly the season that he left to join Burnley. I believe he lasted 3 to 4 months at Burnley. He was an absolute catastrophic failure at Burnley, and then went back and rejoined Bournemouth.
I mean, trying to change Burnley is like,
hard.
It's like,
yeah,
cutting
100%,
a rock.
100%. But equally, let's just be careful when we're suggesting Eddie Howe to Monaco. I mean, I know that they
Thierry's gone to Monaco.
That's a fucking disaster.
Who else did he suggest? Sevilla. I mean,
Sevilla as well. Is a bit
No, Sevilla have been great at the start of this campaign, so they're not parting ways.
Marcelino with
Marcelino's at Valencia.
Oh, is he? Who am I thinking of?
The name escapes me now. I want to say Sacristan.
Oh, pronunciation.
No, I don't think it is. Anyway, moving on from who is managing Sevilla, but they've been very good at the start of the campaign anyway. No, he's not going to manage Monaco. Just having a look at their numbers here. Bournemouth still conceding 13.4 shots per game, which is the same as Southampton, marginally better than West Ham, and worse than Cardiff at the moment. So, still a little bit vulnerable on the defensive end. However, they are taking 12.7 shots per game, which is, let's have a look. In the order of things, I mean, it's better than Tottenham. So
we should go to Tottenham and do that.
Running hot. I mean, at least they kind of cancel one another out, those stats, which does kind of point towards a mid-table finish, which, like you said, is extremely respectable. And I do think we start taking Eddie Howe seriously if he leads to Bournemouth. If he leads Bournemouth to top 10 finishes in consecutive seasons, but he's not yet, has he?
So last season,
moving on,
everyone was saying Sean Dyche should move to a top 6
side. Despite the fact they were conceding about 20 shots a game, and has been the case this season. Anyway, moving on. Atletico Madrid versus Barcelona. Scotty Young has highlighted this game happening at the weekend. Now, Barca are top of La Liga despite having the same record as Arsenal. La Liga has been topsy-turvy. We've covered that more extensively in previous episodes. You guys know the rates by now. Moving on. Atleti are third despite winning 1 of their opening 4 La Liga games. So been decent of late, but they're really struggling to score. Diego Costa's shot numbers, absolutely dreadful, relying on Antoine Griezmann scoring set pieces. Diego Godin's out of contract at the end of the season. Felipe Luis is out of contract at the end of the season. More defensively suspect than they've ever been, and taking less shots doesn't equate to a vintage Atletico side. They're another one they need overhauling slightly in the summer. A few of their newer signings like Rodri not getting a lot of game time. Lamar not really hit full pelt.
They've got to be careful.
Correa not getting a lot of minutes on the wing.
They've got to be very careful they don't lose Oblak, who
Yeah,
apparently.
once they got,
Well, it's more because
Oblak.
Apparently in 2016 he said, "Can I get a contract extension with more money?" Because he's only get 25,000 a week, and they've not spoken to him since 2016, and nothing's happened. And he's apparently now fuming and just wants to get paid more. Especially when you're like the second best, third best keeper in the world. And you're on 25k a week, and you see De Gea signing like what, 200,000, 300?
He's signing nothing at the moment, mate. He's leaving on a free in the summer.
Back to Atletico. Hey. Okay, I mean, this is at Atletico Madrid. What is the name of the new stadium?
Wanda Metropolitana. Wanda.
Whatever. Anyway,
looks
moving
good though.
on.
Looks really nice.
It is. I would really like to go there. Send us some tickets, Atletico. So what do you think the score is going to be, gents?
Lionel Messi had a couple of weeks off.
Is he back fit though?
He is back, yeah.
He is. I think he's got his best goal scoring, I believe, against Atletico Madrid. His record is better than any other La Liga team. He scored 28 goals against Atletico Madrid.
If you pulled that from...
Out of the
blue, back on my head. Don't quote me on it though. Don't quote me on it. I believe he will score and Barca will win.
I'm
2-1.
I'm saying 3-2. Lionel Messi, 85th minute. Because every time I go precise, I get it right. I said Bonucci would do it, and he did. Didn't get the scoreline right, but he did do that.
So didn't get it right, but
partially.
Self-praise.
Exactly.
No praise. Anyway, I reckon I'll go for a fairly convincing 3-1 Barcelona win, although they have been defensively suspect as well.
Back?
I think they've already conceded the same amount of goals that Luis Enrique conceded in that whole treble-winning season in the league. They only conceded 15 that year. But obviously Umtiti's been injured at the start of this season. Longley and Piqué have kind of ran hot and cold and played together, I guess. And what else? Is there anything else to say about Barcelona? What's new with Barcelona? No, other than that, I love Arthur.
Suarez has found some form again. So.
Yeah, but we knew that would happen. Still taking.
Has he scored in the Champions League yet since 2016 or 2015?
That's away from home.
Oh.
So, yeah, I think, again, Suarez, if he can keep up those consistent shot numbers, will be a prominent figure in this game.
Dembele is on gaming the night before as well.
Dembele, I mean, I think they're being a little bit personal, a bit cruel about Dembele in the press out there, it would seem. But we also speak about him moving to Bayern Munich and being available for €100 million at the end of this campaign. So basically, this is just a recap of the podcast. Now, I've got down here, mention the Copa Libertadores final, second leg, and the Wembley Cup in it. I imagine George has scripted this if he's put in it. So, yes, obviously not really of the same standing.
Yeah, Wembley Cup's much higher.
There we go, banter. No, Copa Libertadores final, obviously finally poised 2-2. That was at Boca Juniors Chocolate Box Stadium. So this one goes back to River Plate in Argentina. I think mentally they're probably further ahead than Boca. Boca missed some gilt-edged chances at the end of that game, but I mean, getting a draw away from home, away goals don't count in this tournament, by the way, gentlemen. But I think they've probably got the edge, playing in front of their fans now. And
Boca do have a really good record though at River Plate Stadium. I forget the name of it, but they have a very good recent history record there.
Yeah, it's because River Plate have been pretty bad in recent history. I think they were relegated about 3 or 4 years ago.
I think they're unbeaten before. But did you see the video? Did you see the footage of the Boca Juniors training ground? Unbelievable. They actually trained at their first team stadium, and 45,000 fans turned up, packed out the stadium for a training session.
Cop will do a great video on it. Anyway, that's us for this week, guys. If you enjoyed this, then go and watch VFN,
the brand new show. It's not called VFN.
Oh, sorry. It's unnamed at the moment, isn't it?
You can name it though, so go and watch that. Let us know what you think of it in the comments below, and let us know a name for it.
Yes.
Because Zach's done a great job editing it, so.
It's not done yet.
What a sign-off this has been.
What an episode.
Bye.